Thank you for watching Why I Killed You TV. Please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share this particular video on this particular YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about Vanessa Tsosie. She was only 29 at the time of her death. She was a Navajo woman. She was a mother of two. She was found dead on November 5th, 2017 in Brook Haven Park West in Farmington, New Mexico. She had been reported missing from Red Valley, Arizona on the Navajo Nation. Her body had showed signs of blunt force injury and possible SA, and she had no identification on her, delaying the identification process. Her family recognized her belongings from photos shared by police on Facebook, and dental records later confirmed her identification. Investigators learned that Vanessa had been drinking with a group of men the night before, and one of them later died of suicide before being questioned. Another individual admitted to being at the scene but claimed he only witnessed what happened. Let's roll this clip.
They hate you. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this.
She wasn't. Yeah, let's just show me this. Where at? Over there? Okay. On the step? Is she breathing? Someone said she wasn't. Yeah, let's just show me this.
A young woman disappears on a quiet reservation night. And what police find next would unravel everything the community thought it knew.
911, what is the emergency?
There's three guys that will be waiting here. Gonna be standing right there. They said there's a lady laying in the park and she's just dead.
It started with a 911 call about an unresponsive woman in the park.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
The address is Great Lane Park. There was some kid just came running up to my door and said there was a girl down here by the park with her head bashed and that should be right. They all ran back to the park.
Officers rushed over, just 2 blocks from their station.
Hey guys,
What they found was chilling.
looks like it's been a while. At least overnight.
Okay, so nothing.
10-8, I'll be...
So other than, there's obvious blunt force trauma, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So was there signs of like maybe possible CFP, like pants were down or anything like that?
There you go. You're down
Pants?
there.
Okay.
Her pants are off and laying next to her. Someone displayed her like that, so.
Her face, from what I can see, it looks like it's been beaten or bludgeoned. It's quick to infer that she's dead. Possibly been sexually assaulted.
The body was partially clothed, showing signs of violence. Forensic teams swept the scene.
We weren't able to find an ID card. There was no wallet, purse, or anything. Finding a way to identify her was going to take some time.
Sir, just come over here to the picture table for me, all right?
How did you guys come to be involved in this?
The guy came back to me. He told me there's a dead woman down here. So what? This woman dead. I said, that's a rent to that motel.
Right.
I rang the doorbell, knocked on it, rang it, it came out. I told them, call the cops.
Did you come over here and check on her at all?
She did.
I just looked at her to see how.
You looked at her from where? From right here, or did you go down there and touch her at all?
I didn't touch her either.
No.
I just looked at her.
She's dead? Sure.
Yeah.
Damn.
Do you know her?
No, I don't.
No?
That's the first time I seen a dead body, you know?
Right.
I seen cars pass by to hold him down, you know?
I was the on-call detective. It's one of those scenes that I could always picture it in my mind. I don't need to look at the footage. Nobody deserves to die like this. As brutal as it was, it kind of made me angry, and I really wanted to find out who did this as soon as possible.
She's right off over the edge there.
Oh, okay.
There's blood on top of the stairs before you go down on the sidewalk.
Okay.
On our entry, cordon doctor area. I don't know if it's her shoes or not. I would want to muddy it up.
Her shoes were off of her feet. They were black Nikes with, I believe, a pink swoosh. And then there was a jacket that had been laid over her. And that jacket had a lot of blood on it. There was some blood droplets on top of the stairwell.
Blood came from kind of where she's at, based on directionality.
You look like her face is smashed into the stairs, the way it looks.
Yeah.
What did that look like?
I mean, the initial blow might have been because there'd be no blood source.
Right.
But no.
Okay. And there's also a fair amount of drops at the top of the stairs. Okay. So you think someone put the boots to her right there, Jamie, maybe? To cause that?
Definitely impact.
That's looks like part of a shoe print. That way? Yup.
Both of those? Just that one?
Yes, this is the same one.
And no, it looks like there's a partial shoe print.
Close enough that if we found somebody with a bloody shoe on that.
There's blood drops away from the body on that sidewalk down there, like far enough away where it's not hers, I don't think. So maybe that'd be like it's it.
Officers are now going door to door, canvassing the area.
Hey, police department, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, so we had a dead body over here that was beat up. So we're trying to see if anybody heard anything or saw anything.
Usually I was here, but I went to the ER last month.
You work at the ER last night?
Hello, Farmington police. So I was just curious, were you home last night?
Yeah.
Did you hear anything? Yelling, screaming, noise?
But someone crying really loud when I walked this way. But I saw a lady running over there, way down there.
By the park?
Close by the park, somewhere up there. And I could see her running. She was crying.
Okay.
And she was running that way. There was a guy that was walking this way. When I went this way, there was a guy walking with the jacket that was black, and he had it all the way up here.
Like a hoodie?
Yeah. Okay. So then I thought, oh, okay, he could be the one that's kicking that lady. So I kind of got scared and then I came back in.
Officers remember someone matching that description.
Hey, I'm Detective Blair with the Farmington Police Department. So for obvious reasons, we're going to need to talk to you.
I went and grabbed him and took photos of his shoes. I noticed that there was some red staining consistent with, blood.
I guess with that guy's shoes.
Definitely like
With the hat, what was your name, sir? Bruce?
So the lady admits to seeing all this, and she still didn't call the police. This is crazy.
All right, we're going to go ahead and transport you up for your interview, okay?
November 5th. It's approximately 20 minutes after 9 in the morning. I'm going to be interviewing Bruce. Hey, how are you? Are you from here? Arizona?
But I moved up here for about 5 years.
Have you ever been arrested before?
I have been, but the little charges. It's like charges.
Okay.
I did probation.
I would say we're skeptical initially, so it's important to immediately lock him into a story as to where he was, whether it's true or not.
There's no reason that we would find your shoe prints down there by where the body was. You never walked up to the body. Detective Blair, you noticed some blood on your shoes.
That's from my fighting.
You got a fight with your brother?
Oh, yeah.
Could you point one fight to that?
I was like, how could we do
Fight with brother?
Yeah, that's
What's your brother's name? You don't have a cell phone number or a way to get in contact with him? Okay.
Try to find or at least find some help.
So now he's saying he had a fight with his brother. That's why some blood on his shoes.
May I have a sample of your DNA? What it is just a Q-tip, yeah, swab from inside.
In the meantime, trying to identify the victim, her shoes were unique. So we posted a picture of those items on Facebook saying, anybody who recognizes these articles of clothing, please contact us.
The trail was going cold until a pair of shoes and an inmate's confession cracked the silence wide open.
Who remembers the shoes?
Me.
You all do? Tell us about those shoes.
I opened up my Facebook. It's the first thing that caught my eye. I'm like, these are my sister's shoes.
And how do you know? They make a lot of shoes.
She has her ankle straight right here, or like the back of it. She was bleeding, and the other day I was mopping. I was telling her, like, you're getting blood everywhere. Shoes are there. I noticed there's blood on the back of that. I don't know where the blood is at.
So there was one particular thing on the shoes that we didn't reveal. There was a blood stain in the heel of the shoe.
She described the victim to a T. So we were able to identify her as 29-year-old Vanessa Tsosie.
Vanessa Tsosie was just 30 years old when she vanished without a trace. A mother, a daughter, a sister.
I seen her that Friday before she left. I tried calling her phone, she wasn't answering. And as days passed, nothing, no response.
Her last known location? A park not far from the tribal police station.
You all have contact with her on Tuesday?
She called me Saturday.
At that point, we were able to start to follow leads with the family. We were able to start asking, okay, tell us about that day.
She said she was at Morgan Lake and then she said the vehicle saw one of them. And then she goes, just then she goes talking, so I talked to the guy, and I didn't get his name. And he said, can you take us home? And then I said, where's home? And I said, that was once.
And then the phone just cut out or died or anything?
And then after that, she never called me back.
Listing people that were in the area, Vanessa's sister had told us that they knew Bruce and George. They basically lived down the street for them in their younger years in Red Valley. What is the likelihood that Bruce and George are right across the street, from where Vanessa is murdered?
Officers are interrogating George now.
Question by law enforcement. We can't afford one of those 23 costs. Understand that? Okay. So did you go through the park at all that night?
Yeah, I was home that night also.
What night?
I just got that girl that got whatever happened to her,
So you're saying you were home that entire weekend?
Yes, I was also watching the news with my brother.
Okay. So you didn't go to that park at all? Well, you were either there at the park or not. I'm not saying you did anything.
When you start getting a lot of maybes, it's possible, as opposed to I don't remember, you start to question the integrity of what's being told to you.
Do you know a name of Vanessa Tsosie? Used to live next to you in Red Valley, the Tsosies. Because they remember you.
They remember us being out there?
What's that? She's found dead there at the park, murdered. And
How is it you don't remember your next door neighbor? That's crazy.
And one of her old neighbors from a small town far away happens to be him and his brother right across the street. You see what I'm saying? So there's our connection.
I was in the house watching movies with all that evening. Going nowhere.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that for now. Like I said, if you're telling the truth, then you probably won't see me.
In the meantime, an inmate wants to talk to detectives about the homicide.
You heard something. Okay. What did you hear?
We dreamed a couple of guys, and they were talking about the girl named Vanessa. kind of described like how he like raped her, stuff like that, often stuff like that, and that he can kill somebody, just saying all this kind of stuff. Like if anybody's seen him on the camera.
Okay, so where would I find him on camera at?
Yeah, right now he's living in Walmart.
When officers went through the CCTV, they found that the person hanging out with Ethan was neither George nor Bruce. He was a completely different person. The man is identified as Kyle and is brought in for questioning.
Kyle, I'm Detective McGay. Okay. What I wanted to visit with you about was that picture that was on the internet and then the individual that you were there with. So do you remember this evening?
Yeah, I remember, yeah. Big neighbors came by and found me.
Was he by himself?
Yeah, he was by himself. He was just, like every time I went to like go somewhere, he was just trying to follow me.
We went to go interview him at the jail. He's saying that you had disclosed some information to him about some stuff that you had done here in Farmington.
Oh, that was like way back. I'm on probation for that now.
And what are you on probation for?
Aggravated battery.
So you're on probation now for aggravated battery. Who was that with?
My previous girlfriend.
Kyle's admission of being violent towards his girlfriend made me think he could be capable of being violent towards other women. So it makes me think he could be our suspect.
What about Vanessa? Who's Vanessa?
I don't know Vanessa.
You don't know any Vanessas? You said that you guys talked about females that are missing in this area?
Yeah, I mean,
What did you guys talk about it?
I don't really recall it, honestly.
Have you ever told somebody that you did something that you didn't do just to make you look good or make you look like maybe you had some street credit?
Yeah, I just scared people.
Okay, what have you told them?
I just wanted him to go away.
After speaking with Kyle, it was clear that he really had no connection to Vanessa. Kyle was just bragging, like he wanted to create some street cred. And this was believable because Ethan was a bigger guy. And Kyle felt like he needed to run his mouth a little bit to keep his own. But we always want to rule everyone out. So we took DNA from Kyle.
Multiple suspects, 0 answers. But then DNA results bring a stunning revelation.
But one of the DNA profiles we had came back with a CODIS hit to an individual by the name of Jimmy. We had to track down Jimmy as soon as possible because now he was our only lead as to who was at the scene and what happened.
As far as this case goes, I'm not here to try and violate for probation. So when I ask truthful questions, and I need you to be truthful with me.
Yeah.
So did you ever come out to Farmington to drink? Or did you ever come to Farmington and end up drinking, rather?
I think a couple of times, yeah.
I know what the result was. I know what happened, but I don't know what was happening. I don't know who did what, or if it was an accident, or I know what the end result was, and I know who was there.
Right.
Okay, based on DNA, based on witnesses. Okay.
Okay.
So that being said, is there something in your mind that you think you'd be here for? Again, let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm thinking about at Paul. We were drinking, and they said that this happened, and back in Ram Valley, in Cove. I went to a friend of mine's house, but she wasn't there. But her son was there, Eric.
Okay.
So.
Is he younger than you?
Yeah. He's just like maybe in the 20s or something like that. But we ended up drinking, and we were just parked on top of the mountain. But somehow he started driving, I guess, and I passed out.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, I woke up. There's another female, and then I noticed was in the back, and I looked in the back, and I said, "Who's this?" I said, "Where did we pick her up?" And then he goes, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We were ready to take off, but on that vehicle that we were in, something happened to the transmission." I gave her my phone because she wanted to call somebody. I can't remember who, her sister or somebody.
Morgan Lake, and she's like, the beef was all on them. And then she goes, just then she goes, talk to me. So I talked to the guy, and I didn't get his name. And he said, can you take us home? And then I said, where's home? And that's it. So,
And then the phone just cut out or died or
and then after that, she never called me back.
We went maybe about good less than 1,000 feet maybe or something like that. And I said, this park right here, you know, we can't drive.
That's exciting because we're talking to somebody who actually knows what happened. So again, this started to compound the likelihood that Jimmy was, you know, being truthful.
So we have no luck, you know, nobody's gonna pick us up, nobody's gonna help. So we started walking to Farmington. We got drunk together, but I know there's another person that was there.
And at that point, it was just Eric, Vanessa,
and that guy.
So as they're drinking, an individual by the name of Alvin joins them.
So anyways, you think you met up with him?
Yeah, then I didn't have my migraine pills, and then I get rolled back migraine.
It's a lot of pieces to this puzzle.
And my eyes turned real red. And this dude goes, I'll massage your neck, you know, so he was going like this, you know, massaging. And then he said, he goes, come on, dude, you know, he goes, I'm not a, you know, they just pushed me from the back, you know, and I fell like this. I was sitting like this, so I fell. So I jumped up and I started running as fast as I could.
So do you know what happened to Vanessa? Have you heard?
No, not really what happened, but I know they found her body, but I don't know what happened to her though. But from my best of knowledge, I was thinking back one day, and I think that Eric, I think he's the one that did that.
Officers found Alvin.
I found a young individual who knew where Alvin lived, out on the reservation. And we don't have jurisdiction out here. So we were basically doing legwork for the Navajo Nation investigators. So we took pictures of the residents. We get a call from the investigator. A day or two after, he said, I have good news and bad news. The good news is you can come serve this DNA search warrant because we found Alvin. The bad news is he killed himself.
Officers have no choice but to talk to Eric again. He denied everything.
Advised you rather, do you want to talk with us, figure out what's going on here?
I'm sure you might as well, because I don't know what this is all for. I mean, obviously I have kids somewhere or something like that.
Sure. So let me ask you about some of the people involved in this case and see if you know any of these people. Jimmy?
I mean, I never really knew him. Yeah, I actually never really seen him too.
You and him though never hung out ever?
No, not really.
What about Alvin Nelson?
I don't know who that is.
No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking with Eric, he denies everything. He's a liar. You know, he didn't want to give us information unless it helped him. He wasn't going to tell the story unless he had to.
Let me ask you this. What about Vanessa Tsosie?
That's one of my mom's relatives too, I think, yeah. That's the lady that passed, isn't it? Yeah.
What do you know about her?
I don't really know anything about her. I've never seen her before, but I think she was like killed, I think, somewhere in Farmington. I'm not too sure. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Is there any reason, and you've got to level with me here, if there's a reason, you've got to be truthful with me, because this book right here is full of evidence. Why would your DNA be on my scene?
You know, I caught a ride with Jimmy one time and staying out there with my dad. So, I wouldn't break nobody, so.
So here's what I know for sure. I know that Jimmy and you were in a car coming to Farmington.
We picked up that girl. That girl was hitchhiking somewhere by N36 or...
Which girl?
That girl, Vanessa.
You start to show your hand a little bit that you know he's lying, and this is why. He starts to say, okay, yeah, but this, and we're able to put him there on the scene, that's a great card to show that we know you were there. So stop lying. And that's when he starts to reveal his side of the story.
I want to share something with you. Jimmy's saying that you did this.
No.
He came to us and told us that you did this. Are you saying Jimmy's lying?
Yes, sir, I believe so, because I
Well,
was
no,
not...
you did. Did you do this?
No, sir, I did not, sir.
Did you kill Vanessa?
No, sir, I did not.
When we're in any interview, we try to lock them into a story, a version of events that they're going to present. And then if it's true, it's true. And if it's not, that's when we switch to confrontational.
Did you rape Vanessa?
No, I did not rape her, sir, but I did have sex with her before all of this apparently happened.
Okay.
Sir, I swear to God to you, sir. Yes, sir.
So when they had her pants pulled off and her shoes.
So now he is saying he had sex with her. He's switching up the story.
Was thrown over to the side, and her head was on the ground. They were laying on the ground with her feet towards the cement wall.
Yeah.
And her head was over by the steps.
Yeah.
You're saying you weren't there.
Yes, sir.
If you killed her, you're gonna get charged for it.
I didn't kill it.
You understand?
Yes, sir. No, to be honest, it was Alvin. I mean, I don't want to start saying, oh, start pointing fingers. I just seen her alive right up on the steps when I was walking up, and then they were already, but she was also hugging Alvin at the same time. And I said, okay, I said, I'll go up there on the steps. And after that, I left it. I walked up to the stairs, and next thing you know, she's like, well, no, stop.
What did she say?
Someone help, or no, don't do this. And I was like, what?
So then, you walk back and you see them.
I seen Alvin just stomping on her, kicking her in the stomach, in the face, and then after that, getting her. Yes, sir, I did.
And by that point, Jimmy was already gone?
Yeah, he went down towards the canal, but it was Alvin, no, sir, because I did beat him. I did well on him. I did.
So what happened during that fight with him?
I just beat him, knocked him out, and then,
Just be detailed with me, because I can't ask Alvin.
Yeah, I know. After I seen him do this, he went towards the canal, and I went around Walmart. I was shocked. I went around. I seen him, and I just wailed on him. I beat him up right there by the culvert, and I came back, and I seen her. She was laying there dead, but I just left it. She was just laying there. Her pants was off. I mean, I never seen a scene like this in like a horror movie.
After months, officers finally received DNA results of Eric and Alvin.
The blood DNA that was found on Vanessa's body came back to Alvin. So that Alvin was the suspect that had committed this horrendous crime. And Eric did not.
Alvin's a violent guy, and maybe Vanessa was fighting back hard enough that it angered Alvin to the point that he just stomped her face in.
It was a bittersweet moment.
She didn't deserve to leave this world how she did. We're gonna have to try to come to peace with everything. And we're slowly getting there. But it's just difficult.
There's no closure for me. Not yet. It's just still fresh, it's a wound that will never heal.
They hate you. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this.